Hello, I just came back here to do some more cameras in this video. So, if you guys like the videos and you want some more, please like and subscribe, and then I'll know. It seems to be a little more interest right now, so I'll try and finish up this series. I know I haven't finished some in the past. So anyway, we did some detailed views in the last video. I didn't go back and look. It was when I was on vacation a couple of days ago. So I'm back now. So what I'm going to do is put some of these grid line views on drawing some elevations. So I guess we can start with this first one. So let's go in here first. I have a little bit of a sore throat, so sorry if I sound a bit funny. Hide the camera graphic. Alright, I'm going to activate this model view, and then I'm going to rotate around. It'll make it easier for me to see these, hopefully. Let's drag this out here. Okay, so we can see here. And let's go down here to this one. And have we got one? Yeah. So this is the B line, right? So let's just no, sorry, didn't want to do that. I do that a lot. I double click on these by accident instead of coming in and going to advanced properties. Camera properties, grid line B. Okay. Now, there's no elevation one here. We can add an elevation one. So if you want to do that, it's just a model view you have to add. So we're not going to worry about that. It's a little more advanced. I wouldn't get into that if you're a beginner. I think I mentioned that in the last video. Alright, so let's go back in here. And again, I double clicked. Sorry. So I'm going to check. So this one here, advanced properties, and what am I using here? I'm using elevation view full ADM. So that is the one I created, right? So we want to edit that a little bit. So first we'll put this on a sheet. So the scale should be 1/8, wasn't it? Sorry, I have to keep opening this. Alright. So do a little orbit there, select it. Now, might be a good idea to just go in here, select these, and just go to properties. You can either put them on a different layer, because they're not really on a layer, or you can just change the color of them. Right now we can see them a little better. Sorry for the cough. Alright, so come up here, and we have a process, and I have them turned off, right? I did that in the last video. So it's the second one here. So the selected camera on the page. And then the drawing number I want is the elevations are going to be on the 200 sheets. Now this drawing process I have already set up to put the E in front of it, right? So it's E201. So in the previous video, I guess I had already created an elevation view. So let's go in and have a look at that elevation view. Do, 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 do. 300, 200, 200, and we'll open the 201 and open draw. Alright, so that is the one that 201. So as you can see, it doesn't come in with anything in it. And we probably don't need the system lines. Now you can see I'm also missing a connection up here. So we need to fix that. So let me fix that first. So that is on this side, right? Yeah, so up here. So what we'll do is this connection is not going to fit. So let's delete this. we're going to delete these two connections. And then I'm just going to put the same connection that's on the bottom on the top, and I'm just going to copy it, not intelligently. And then this one I will copy intelligently, so it's connected to this one. Alright, now as you can see, those beams are short, so I like to extend them to have the system lines correct. So let's extend those two, and we'll probably just put an extended shear plate in there, right? So I'm just going to come in here. Now these all need to be approved. Did not receive many details for this job, so we're kind of just winging it from what we would usually do for jobs. So let's have a look in here. So let's create a model view here for this. So let's go into Home, Project Explorer, Model View. You know what, I'll do it at one point, because I don't know, sometimes they say the raft or roof, I'll just call it. So it gives you this box that's pretty big, so, and I'm going to go in that direction. Alright. So if you do it the other way on the giant box, it gives you quite a small giant box. So I like to do it that way. It looks a little bit easier. So now we can go back into our giant. So plate and bolts, plate shape straight, and plate layout rectangular, both. So we want to have it both top and bottom. I'm going to take off the marking. The guy doesn't want the marking on them. And the shape is straight, and we could do 0.75 on the corner. And back to layout, sorry, flange gap 1/16, flange gap the other side 1/16, and then we want to do the cut. These again is always a problem. I don't know why they have this coming in automatically with two cuts. We just want one of these or none of these. So otherwise, I know in the past it creates a clash. So alright, so cut back 1/2 inch from the face. I'm going to cut back 3 inches from the face. And that gives me, it doesn't matter, it just gives me a gap that's around 1/4 or 1/2, and that's what I want. I just want to have a number here that I can work off, because I need my bolts to be back in at least 4.5 now. But I'll just go a little bit more, so I'll go 4.75. And then I want to change the bolts to TC bolts. There's a lot of other options here, most of them you won't use. And now the plate shape, we want to go back to the first one here, I think. Radius of inner corners, you could do 0.5 or 0.25. So 0.5 is going to work there. So that'll do us for that. Alright, happy enough with that. Deactivate this again. Select this connection, and then we're going to copy it across. Oh, I'm in the wrong one, sorry. No, we're going to intelligently copy it, so let's use this one, and then we're going to choose this beam, and there we go. Alright, now we want to just make sure we're okay putting it on that side, and we really want to put it on the other side, right? So let's do Advanced Joint Properties. And I'm just going to actually take a note here, because I'm going to change. So you want to change the bolt side, right? You want to change it to the right. And then you want to also change the bolt, sorry. So the bolt has to be inverted also. So now the bolt will be connected to this beam instead of connected to this beam. So you want this on the piece detail for this. So that is good practice. I'm going to just take a note of that. bolt orientation, piece detail, because I do plan to do a video, maybe like a 10-part video of advanced steel tips. It's going to be like 100 tips or something like that, like little tips like that. So let me just take a note. Alright, so that's in. So let's go back to what we were looking at there, and let's click on this and go to labels and dimensions, update detail, and that has updated that detail. And maybe you don't want to see that, maybe you don't want these lines. Alright, so let's go back to this 200 one, which we've put on the sheet already. And there's a lot going on here. I don't know if we need to have this go the whole extent at each level. So we might want to fix the size of those cameras. For now we won't. This is -10 because it goes all the way down to -18. Because I was going to try and put 2 of these on each sheet. So let's go back in 3/8. If we go to a quarter, let's see how that looks. Alright, so let's go to a quarter. We'll just play around with this for a minute. So let's go to output, drawn styles, and plan elevation, and we did elevation full, right, this one. So we have renamed this, yes, and we have renamed this also. So what you could do is, we can see in here that main part beam side width, main part beam top front length, looking for the mark and the name. Beam's top front length is off. And then all beams presentation is all main part beams. It's off. That seems weird. This one here, but it's going to be governed by this other one first. So this just seems a little weird why this would be here as off. Unless I did that. Alright. So really all we want here is we want the beams labeled, right, and the columns labeled. So if we go to beams and try and find beams all, this one here, and then we'll bring this up here a little bit above the other beams. So it's showing the visibility as off, right? So we want to have this visibility as just visible. Oh, sorry. I don't like working on the lower levels. I like to work here. Everyone is different, but visible. It's better to not click on this drop down. Sometimes it's better to click over here. Alright, so this beam, all visible, and then labels off. And then let's go back up top and see. We'll change this to a quarter. So when we update it, it'll stay at the scale we just had. So those red lines should disappear, right? So the red lines are gone. Now, if you want to get them back for a brace or anything, just double click on this and you can put in a line if you want to. Generally, you don't want the lines in, I feel. If you do, put them in. Alright? So that's how you put them in. So now we can see we also have the columns here. Now my column is not showing the bottom of the column, right? The beams, I'm not showing this beam over here because I just set it to not show this beam. Now the reason it's behaving like this is because I have not numbered this model, and I'm not going to number it until after the approvals because I'm in a hurry to do the approvals, and the numbering sometimes can take up a little bit of time. So we can see we have our elevations in there, and we have elevations there. So if you want to put some more elevations in here, what we'll do is we'll come back. Let's activate this view so we're in the view. so it's a little easier for us. And then we can go in here and back to the home tab, go in here, put in an elevation here, and then repeat aster height. Let's put in another elevation at the top of that beam. And let's put in another elevation at the top of this beam. And then if we go back to this E200 and update it, it'll come in with those elevations. This one here, I don't know what the story with this one here is. So let's go down and see if there is one down there, or I put that in manually, I bet. Alright, I put that in manually, I guess. So we want to put one in inside the camera. So what we'll do is we'll just copy this one. And we'll copy it down in the Y direction. As far as that slab, okay. Go back to 200, labels, update detail. Now what could be a good idea in this situation maybe is to delete this wall. I don't really want to see the front of this wall, right? Because that's kind of a distraction. But what we'll do first is, yeah, see, I have this is in somewhere. I need to find it and delete it. This one here now. Let's get rid of that. And this is 10 and 1/32, so this slab height is off slightly. So let me just double check it. Yeah. Let's move it up. Right, we gotta go up. Now, because we're moving it up 1/32 doesn't mean it's accurate either. So we should really get an accurate reading on that. So it may not be accurate because, you know, maybe I'm a 64th off or something like that. So what we want to do is, if we want to go 10 feet, let's go back to the origin. And the origin is not over there, obviously. I just didn't reset that. So let's do a line at 0, 0, 0. And let's do that line down 10 feet. And then what we'll do is we'll move that slab down. So just try to be as accurate as you can. I've already set that elevation marker to that slab. So let's just go in the Z direction down to there. And then go back and check. Why is that 10? That's weird. Alright, so it's saying now it's -10. And oh, I know why. Because I set my level off, right? So let's move this back up 1.5. Because I set my base level as 1.5 off. Alright, so there, we should be good there now. So I just moved it back up that 1.5 inch. Labels, update detail. Alright, so there's our level symbols are in correctly and they look pretty tidy. Now our beams, we need some labels, right? So let's go back to output, back into our drawing style and object presentation. Alright, so this one I just did, the beams governs all the beams. So we're going to come in here. And let's do beams, model role and section name, apply, use. And now it should give all these a label. Now it's giving them all a label. They have not been numbered, so it's not giving a end of the beam. And these ones don't have, as you can see, a model role. So straight away we can go back and fix that. So let's go back in and fix these two. Advanced properties, naming, column 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many model roles you have. So, you know, you can kind of do this as you go, right? So you're just jumping over and back, you're checking things. So column, all right, so those columns are in, and they are in the correct way. That's the way I want them. Now, if I go back to the drawing style, if we go back into that beam, this one, right? Let's go inside, show compass marks. Let's cancel, I wasn't in the drawing. So go back in, use, alright, so compass is here, west. So let's see if I come in here and if I pick this. Second one, and we'll go to 200. Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to remember if I need to number it to get the labels to the right end. Shouldn't have to. Memory's not great. Alright, so for one, I'm not going to be able to get this inside that front wall without losing the column, right? So we would have to draw the walls separately, so I'll just leave it. So what I'm going to do is, let's come back in here. Visible, model selected. Visible, okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to do the columns, but I want the columns to be visible behind the walls, but I don't want the beams to show the hidden. So what we can do is create a new one here, and if we go in here we can see what have we got in here. We've got beams, parts, all model roles, beams. So let's go into a lower level of that. All model role beams, model objects, columns. So let's create a new one, a copy of beams, and we'll call it columns. Sorry, sometimes I forget these things a little bit when I haven't been doing it for a while. So here I think we can't remove this, we have to add one first and then remove it. And then we'll come in here and we can see there is no model objects for beams, right? So let's leave that for a second. Go to your model objects over here. Parts, all model roles. Columns, there is one with columns. So I did not need to create one if there was already one there, right? Oh no, this is the one I created. Sorry, apologies. Model objects. Sorry, I have to do this. Yeah, sorry, I have to change this. I'm wondering what the hell I'm doing wrong. All right, so we have to come in here and change this model role to columns. So anything with the model role columns. All right, and then we can delete this. Sorry. All right. They're probably all screaming at me, going, "What are you doing?" All right, so go back then to the drawing styles. Okay, and we can go back up a level. object presentation. So we've created this one columns. So now what we're going to do is go back up. Columns all, we'll put it above the beams, and we want these to be visible hidden. Apply. Okay, now go back into the drawing, and these are going to be visible hidden. So what's going to happen is this will show up in behind the wall. So go back in here, use, select the column, and we can now see the column in behind the wall. You can also do this with the beams if you want, because you kind of want to see these beams, right? And maybe you want to see these beams if they're hidden behind anything. So you can see this is the plate, but you can't see the beam, so that's kind of weird. You should really turn them all off. So what we'll do is we'll turn the beam back on. I just wanted to show you the difference. So it depends what way you want to do it. So I just wanted to show you that now we have two separate ones, one for the column and one for the beam. But these are only when it's unnumbered or not numbered. So go in here and change this to visible hidden. Okay. And I can't spend too much more time on this because I already have all this set up. So labels, update detail. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I have to get a drink of water. I'm just going to pause this. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to just add in the cameras because there is a full video showing you guys how to automate your cameras that I have, that I'll link below if I think of it. But if I come in here and go to advanced properties, right, we did this already, but I want to kind of cover it. We can see we didn't give this a name because we don't know what it is, right? We don't have an option here that we want. So if you want to add these options, I'll just do it here as quickly as I can because it is kind of important. But I'm just going to do half the process just to get you started, and then you can go to the other video to figure it out. So if you go to table editor and load in the sentence, let's type in camera, C-A-M-E-R-A, I believe that's how you spell camera. Camera types. So here are my camera types. So I want to create some new camera types. So what I can do is, let's just select this one, copy it, paste it. And then we'll come in here and change this to detail. And then come in here and write detail. Now make sure you have all this backed up right beforehand. And now come in again and paste. And let's change this to elevation. So we're going to do detail, we're going to do elevation. And then we're going to do plan. Now I have all these set up already, so I'm trying not to waste too much time because I do have to get this project submitted. And then we'll do a stair. So you might want to do different ones. That's what I choose to do. Stair. And I'll come in here and just change this to ADM. So I'll know that that's my own one in case there's any discrepancies. Okay. So these changes should take effect straight away as soon as you do them. I do like to close out and update these sentences and then come back in, and I'll go back to the editor. I'll go back to the table editor, load these in again, and we'll just check them. Master base camera types, and we can see they're in here. Okay, there they are: detail, elevation, plan, stay in alphabetical order. So now let's come back down here and do model roll, because we need a model roll for these. And then the last step is to set up a link to camera. It's a whole hour video on its own, so I'm not going to get into it. So model roll. So let's scroll down here, see if we can't find a camera, right? So let's go find a camera, column, girder, grab rail, landing. That's the base model roll. Yeah, I'm in the right place. Let me find a camera. Overview camera, here we go. Alright, so let's copy that. Let's come down here, paste. So what we can do then is we can create model objects for these cameras so that we can get them to be controlled and sent to the right place. So elevation, and like I said, please just reference the other video because it has all this in it. Detail, and I'll just do them all because if I forget when I come back to this, I want to at least have it this far. Detail, okay, and that's the second one, and paste again. Oh, did I just paste that over the other one? I think I did. Yeah, so I'm messing it up here now, look. Delete the row. Detail. I think I pasted the last row over that row, so I messed myself up. No, let's copy this one. I'm going to ignore, which is probably not what I should do, but I'm messing it up in here. So basically you want to continue with what I was just doing. So add your elevation, your detail. I'll just close that out. Let me see if I can go back in. I'm not too worried about it because I have it all backed up, so just be careful with that, okay? I'm kind of rushing it, so really need to do these steps a little bit slower. So let's go back in here and overview camera was the one we copied. Copied that again. We did detail. Elevation. Elevation. Yeah, so there's a handling error or something in here. It's not letting me put this one in now. We'll try stair. So did I have elevation in there already? Is that why it won't work? A, B, C, D, E. Elevation camera is already in there. And plan camera. P-L-A-N. No, the plan camera is not in. So let's do the plan camera. And then you'll have another step after this, but this kind of gets you on the way, and I will try and remember to add that on the bottom. Now I want to put this in as ADM. ADM, and what were the other two? I did elevation and detail, so go up here, BCDEF, elevation. You should do this at the time you're doing it, but I'd like to do everything backwards. Okay, close that down. And now if I go in here, let me see if I can edit all these at the one time. Camera type is going to be elevation. Alright, so let's go back and do these other ones. And then when you finish up the steps, when you finish up your steps, you will be able to go up here and have a drawing process that will output cameras for elevations, and it'll just output these ones, and you can put them all on a different sheet, and it'll be just one click. I don't use it that often, to be honest, because I kind of like to do things a little slower, so I'll choose them one at a time. So let me select the third one and see if we can put this on. We wanted to back the scale down a little bit, do we? Advanced properties, I'm going to just check the scale here, and let's see if this quarter will fit. Sometimes it won't fit on the sheet, so let's pick this one and select a camera on a page and cancel. We're going to make this page 202, so we're going to put 200 just to see what happens. So it's going to check 200, and it's going to say we already have a 200, and then it's going to check 201. We already have a 201. So if you don't know what sheets you have, just put in the first one and it'll go to the one that's empty. So 202, right click on that. Show camera graphic is not what I wanted to do. Although it is useful to have that turned on because you can see easier where your cameras are. I'm going to do show camera detail, and we can see it's come in with my beam marks, and it's come in with the presentation. It's just missing labels and stuff, but it doesn't look too bad, right? So you're kind of getting somewhere. So this beam is this one here. Okay, this one is that one there. Alright, so I think I'll eventually just put two of these on each drone. I can see the scale didn't come in right. I thought I just changed the scale. I guess I did not change the scale. So what I'm going to do is now show you how to put it on a drawing that's open already. So instead of updating this, I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select that, and we're going to do the same process. And then we're going to go to this plus button, and then we're going to pick the drawing we want to put it on, which is the one we just created, and we'll see if it fits. It'll pop up down here, and it does fit. So just go back to the sheet, and you can see there it is with the bigger scale. Now at this area we have columns to the basement, so this scale looks pretty close to right. Now we're missing the elevation symbols again, so if you don't want to have to put them in each time, it's probably good practice to just put them in all the locations. The problem is when you put a plan view, then a lot of them will come in also. So alright, so we have that. I have added two plan views here, so let me see what I have regards drones. I've been jumping over and back from my own settings, so I also have some drawings in here that will have a different title block and everything, right? So because I have these ones set up for approval, and so you can see my 100, I'll put these in order, and my 102 are good. These are just to show my anchors, right? So then I'm going to go to 102, we'll have a first floor plan for the beams. So I have this camera here, which is that one, this camera, and we have, sorry, this camera. So I want another camera on this level, but a little higher, right? So what I'm going to do is, these ones are going to be my anchor cameras. So there's two of them, and I'll just leave them in blue, maybe. No, I'll change them. Advanced properties. You can put them on a different, you can just put them on a different layer, which is good. So I have anchor cameras. So what I'll do is, let me create one for anchor cameras. I think I did some cameras, but I didn't do anchor cameras. So cameras, elevation plot. All right. So I'm going to do anchor cameras. So cameras, anchor. Anchor, and then I'm going to make these purple, I guess, or some sort of purple. Like that. Magenta, I guess we call it, right? In AutoCAD. So I'm going to select those two cameras, and I'm going to put them on cameras anchor, and then these two cameras I'm going to put on cameras plan, and obviously I want another one of those. In the Z direction, and I want to put it at the height of this beam. So there's my other one, and so this is going to be first floor. First floor, and the reference elevation is going to be 0. No, it's going to be minus 0. 1.5 is the elevation, so let's put in that as elevation. And if I put any reference elevations, then it'll show plus or minus off it. Now obviously there's a drop down over here, so we want to have the back of this camera go out further, and the rear is going to be down like 6 feet. It's probably more actually, but we'll see what happens when we output it on a sheet. So let's see what we want to do. The style. So the style on this one is not there, so there's no drawn style. There's no drawn style on that one, right? You know why there's no drawn style? There's no drawn style because my drawn style is in my other setup. So there is no drawn style. I have this is an anchor drawn style. So what I'm going to do is come into this one, and we'll just use the so what I got to do is I might just switch back over to my other drawn style to continue, and it'll kind of show you, if you put more work in and spend some time, where you can get to. And I'm not only like 50% of where I want to be, so definitely not saying my system is set up perfect, because it's not. So elevation view full, ADM okay, and let's just see what this looks like on a sheet. It is 1.8, that will do for now. Let's close this, and then we want to put this on the next sheet after in my 100 series. So I'll just do 100, okay, and it should put this on a 102 drawn. 103 drawn, I guess I have a 102 drawn there somewhere. So if we have a 102 drawn already, let's go and see what's on it, because we didn't realize we had a 102 drawn because we didn't update it. So if we go in here, we have a 102 drawn, which is on my anchor details. So I don't want to have it on a 102 drawn, so that's good. So I want it to be on the 103 drawn, so that's fine. So let's right click, show camera detail, it'll open that drawing, and here is my drawing. Now I need to rotate that. You can see I have all sorts of issues with clip angles or beams. So if you have it set to come in with the beams labeled, it's going to label all your clip angles. So what you need to do is specify that these need to be I'll just do it now before I switch over. So first of all, I want to rotate that camera, right, because that camera is not the right way around. And what I want to do is I want to rotate all those cameras from the midpoint between these two. It doesn't really matter because it's taking everything into account. So okay, and then we'll go back to that. We'll update it. Alright, and we can make it a little bigger if we want. I just make it a little smaller than what I need, so it'll definitely get on the sheet. Okay, let's bring this down. As you can see, this title block is too big on this drawing. This is just the one I use for this tutorial. So we can see my columns have labels, and the beams have labels, and you know, there's a couple issues here. Obviously the beams aren't labeled the correct way. The columns maybe should have an arrow, right? So we want to go into this. We'll change this one, output. This was my my plan. Was this a did I do this on a plan drawing? I did it on elevation, so why would I be doing that on an elevation drawing? I got to do plan full, so I need to create a new plan drawing. So let's go in here, and let's go plans and elevations. Let's close this one down, go to plan full, copy, ADM. Let's put my little dash, try and keep it the same as the other ones, I guess. And then go to the next level, view arrangement. Let's go here to the next level, view definition, create a new view definition, full/ADM. Okay, and go down to the next level, object presentation. Now there is a level below this, which is a more difficult level, which is the dimensioning, which I haven't really got time to get into yet, to be honest with you, and it's kind of the least of my worries, because I kind of have to check the dimensioning anyway, but it is something I need to do in the future going forward, so it will be something I will address. Alright, so because this model is not, as we've already stated, not numbered, the issues are that your beams are probably coming off one of these ones, right? So top, front, labels off, so that's not it. This one is labels off, main part beams, side width, I just find it interesting how we have labels at all, because none of these have labels in them. Beams. So what do we have? So what happens is when you come in, you want to find the one that governs, that's controlling these elements, right? So if I go back to this 103, we've got the model role and the name, so it's that new one I created, but these beams are not numbered, so we need to find which one of those labels or object presentations it's using. Now, did I close that without saving it? It looks like I did. So that kind of stinks. So we'll have to go back through that process again. I was going to pause it there, but I'll just go through the process again. Okay. And try not to do what I just did. And then down to the next level again. And and then apply, and at least make the changes. So we're looking for the one that says model role here. Actually, we're not, right? Because the reason it's showing it is because I used the elevation one to output it. Yeah, so I used the elevation one. That's why it's coming in that way. Okay, alright. So that was my mistake. So labels, update, detail. Now most times it'll update. So no. So it's not updating. So what you need to do is just delete that, go back to your model, go back here. We have now changed this to, we have not changed it, that's why I didn't. Plan view 1.8. Let's go up a level to 3/16 and see if that'll fit on the sheet. Let's select this and it'll save us one step. Let's close out the properties and let's go to the second one we created. Okay, and now I put it on the new sheet by accident because I did not pick a sheet and I did not number a sheet. So instead of just going into this drawing and copying it, I'll just recreate it because it only takes a second. So 103, okay. It's taking a second because it's trying to get it onto the page. This is often why I make them smaller. So this is just an example of what happens if you make it slightly bigger. Even though this size sheet fits on the page, you might have a reserved area. I just find it interesting, but it is the computer trying to figure it out, so it's better to back your size down a little bit. You can see it's working there now, and it couldn't fit it on, so it put it on another sheet. So now let's see what sheet it's on. So it's funny it couldn't fit it on the sheet, but it's put it on the same size sheet. So that's kind of what I find weird about it. But you can also copy these details from one page to another. So I'm just going to copy it from the center of there onto this other one, Control V. And then when you do that, if you don't want the other one, just make sure you delete the other one. So let's delete this one. We could delete that whole sheet because we don't really need it. So we'll delete that later. Alright, so now we're in here. We can see we've got hidden beams. We can see the clips, which I like. So maybe I'll leave that on. But if you want to label it, so we could see plan view first floor. So I'm going to change this. So let's go back into output. Go back into that plan view. We want to go up to the top level. We've done this in the previous video. And view properties, I'm going to change this to 3/16. Detail title, I'm going to change this. We want the predefined mark, but we want plan view. So I'll have that plan view come in automatically. And then the text that I wrote in, I want that to be underlined. And then I want scale. And I want scale to be a token, because we have text and a token. Apply, use, and now we'll see what happens here. Now these walls that I've created here are solids. I stated at the start that I like to create them in solids, and then I'll go back when I know they're in the right place, and then I'll create them as concrete objects. So I need to do that to have these drawings correct. So I'm not worrying about that right now. And this will come in with a hatch then. Or you could just double click on it. And you can do hatch on the front or hatch on the rear. And you could do like a concrete hatch, right? So let's go to concrete. And I like to put it in as the color that I have printed in gray, the color 8 or color 253. And then you need to select something inside, labels, update detail. Alright, so now you got some hatch in there. Now we want to do output back into this, so we need to get some labels on here. So if we go inside to our object presentation, we want to go to main part beams. Side width is columns, right? So let's go in here and have a look. Side width, okay. You can see it's looking down on the top. So maybe you want to create a new label for this. So come in here. You have model role. So we can do a new one. So we can click on this. We create a new one for model role column. Now this is not exactly what I've done in my other system. This is just an easier way to show you. So model role column, and this time I want a leader line. Yes, I do. I'm trying to think the other model role. I should do model role beam because I don't. Hole type. I don't know what happened there. Why that's in hole type. Model role hole type. Oh, I think I created. Oh, because I did it in cameras. That's why. Duh. Drawing styles. Alright, so I messed up there, so let's not worry about this now. For now, labeling strategy. So you want to go to your labeling strategies over here. Go to beams, others. Obviously I don't want this here, so delete that. And it's used in a drawing style, right? So I have to go back to the drawing style. If you want to delete it, you have to go back to model role here and then go back to labeling strategy, and hopefully it'll delete now. Yes, I do really want to delete. So that's how you delete them. Just find where they are over here. So go back into my drawing style, object presentation. So I went into labeling strategy there for some reason. Beams, model roles, cameras, others. So I want to go beams here, sorry. That was the one I thought I was selecting. So if I do apply and use, it's just going to come in with these ones. Should just come in with columns. Now at a plan view, it is possible, so it's coming with these clips also, right? Because they're beams. So this is the problem you have. You need to create a separate one for the columns. So what we're going to do is, let's go back in. And we're going to create a separate one. So let's go back to object presentation, beam side width. This one here. Create a new one. Come down. Come in here, we're going to do columns and then bring that up above the beams side width, and then the beam side width we want to have no labeling. So let's go to others and off, so that's turned off. And then the columns one, we want to change this. This is what I was trying to do a minute ago. Create a new one, model role section name, and we'll give this leader line. Actually, what did they do? They do width / leader. Okay. And with leader line, yes. Apply, use. Now these should disappear and these ones should have a line, leader line. Right, so you're getting somewhere now where you want to be, and you kind of get the idea. Now we want to put the beams in, right? So let's put the beam labels in, and then I'll call it a day for this, and I'll continue with the drawings. Sorry. So we want to do the beams. Now you're going to have to change, if this is numbered, you're going to have to do this with the main part beams. Seems like a lot of work, right? But I mean, once you have it set up, you're good to go. So let's go object presentation, and the beams, front top length is these ones. So that seems like what would be governing it. So we want to come in here and go to beams, model role section name, apply, use. And there you go. You got your labels. Alright. So generally I move labels. I'll have them, once they're numbered, they'll come in close to the right position, but I will line them up. You can just line them up like this. I have it set in the sentence for them not to alter. You can also do align labels to reference. Select the object to be used as the reference to align with. Oh, I was supposed to do the, I've already selected that, right? Align labels to, and the X or the Y axis, so Y. And it'll bring them over, right? So you can do that also. Alright, so hope this video helped. Give me some feedback if it did. My next video, I might just show some of the drawings that I output for the job, and then I'm going to attempt to export the model to Revit and Fusion 360 for rendering. Okay, I hope the video was good. Bye bye.